Okay, in this video, I still have on my bright red shoes. Hope you can see my feet. There have been some black bear in this area. Every once in a while, we come out here in the morning and we see a calling card that one has left in our driveway. And so I'm thinking I can scare off any bear with these shoes. Hey, I'd run in the other direction if I saw somebody with these on. I want to talk about my favorite version of the old school swing, and this is the one that I'm sure I would get most derided for by any contemporary coach. And this is the Tris Speaker, or a version of the Tris Speaker swing, where you bring your back foot forward, you load up with that back foot coming forward, and then do this. I call this video the Golden Plane, because what I've noticed about I bet it's going on with other versions of the old school swing too, but this has really made me aware of it. What I'm doing, trying to stay low, because in my book, Landing Safeties, I have a couple of late chapters where I talk about experimenting with this. At that time, this was still very experimental, and I first kind of blundered into it by taking a little hop with the back foot. And that was fun, and it was having some good results, but my monitors and I had some other kids looking at my tests, and we all agreed, well, it's not a good thing to have your head moving even as much as a little hop would do. You want to have your head very level. So that's when I got into really staying low and just kind of sneaking that back knee forward and loading up. And at some point I realized that right about here in my mind, I'm sure it doesn't actually look this way, but in my mind I'm imagining a plane, and in the plane I have my forward leg, I have my forward arm. Remember in another video I talked about the karate chop of the forward arm? That's kind of anticipating what I'm saying here. I'm going to bring that into a plane, and the bat handle, of course, is in the same plane, and even I'm trying to bend my back wrist and kind of get my top hand into the plane too. That's the golden plane, because if I can get everything there lined up in it, then I can just, without any effort, pulling in different directions, with all of my effort going in the same direction, I can go right at the ball. I want to have everything, the leg, the arms, the hands, everything shooting right into the ball. So I'm going to stay low, and that just, I'm getting some kind of feedback here, even though I'm not looking at my arm or my arms and legs. I feel that I'm all lined up here. That's what I'm going for. And then I want to keep that plane together as long as I can, all the way through the ball. That's such a linear, such a straight swing. It doesn't have any dip in the middle of it, which is what makes our swings today so vulnerable to pitches that are not quite where we expected them to be. That's how you get the weak contact. I've got the slightly downward stroke going. If I can just keep that golden plane, then I can really probably step to some extent. This is an incredible claim, but it was made by a lot of dead ball era hitters. I can step where I see the ball coming to some extent. I can kind of step toward the plate if it's going outside on me, or I can step away, because everything's flowing at the same instant. It's happening at the same time. Whoop, it's inside, so I stepped outside. or I stepped out, I stepped away. You may have noticed that, God, there's so much you could say about the hands here, that when I'm loading up, I think this is true with other kinds of swing too. This one is open just as this hand, when I was doing the more conventional kind of Babe Ruth load, this top one open and then closes when I pull the bat up. But in this swing in particular, the Tris Speaker's knockoff swing, the top hand is opening up. Again, it's kind of like a martial arts thing where you relax and you open up right before you get serious. And then when I'm going at the ball, that bottom hand tightens up and jerks the bat through. One other thing I'm starting to notice about this, that I've been paying so much attention to the hands because, you know, I guess your mental feedback loop is just, there's so much going on with your hands that you're really aware of them. But I've become aware too that my core is really working with this stroke, and I think the Golden Plane enlists that kind of assistance from your middle body. There's a yellow jacket. They attacked me the other day, but I wandered right into their nest. I think this one will leave me alone. It's dangerous out here. Honestly, I'd rather tangle with a bear than a bunch of yellow jackets. But can you see how using your core strength just makes you that much more potent as a hitter? This is, you know, some of your strongest muscles in your whole body are right here. I think probably they say your strongest muscles are back there, but you can't, with all due respect to Ted Williams, you can't really put those muscles directly in the swing the way you can if you get that plane and pull everything down into one point. I think this may be better than any swing I've ever seen or thought of or experimented with yet. This may be the one that really channels energy, the most energy, most effectively into one point. That's the Golden Plane. And again, if you're willing to try something different and put up with a little harassment from your mates and from even your coach, give it a try. It's not for the big kids, perhaps, because they're going to have success no matter what they do. They're just big. Anything they breathe on is going to go 300 feet. But you're not, and you're trying to find a way to make the team, so you're going to try to hit 400, 500. I think you can do it with something like this. Guys were flirting with 400 every year a century ago, taking strokes like this. So think about it and give it a try.